everyone, my name is Brandon, aka Smart Home Sellout, and today we're going to be talking about the R1 Pro and showing how to mount it in a single gang box. Alright, so I've got a little piece of sheetrock up here. Yours will likely have, paint on it. It possibly will, have a couple of coats of paint on it, so it's probably going to be just a slightly bit more difficult than my setup here, but it should work just fine. This also assumes that you have already installed the little gang box mount here. And these are actually a prototype. The new ones will be in a frosted resin, but it's basically just going to sit in the box like that. And one thing that we want to do before going any further is we want to punch out one of these. So, this will tell you up, top or down, and we want to at least bend one of these guys. It's not the easiest to do here. Bend it in enough to where we can get our Ethernet cable in here, right? So I'm gonna actually push mine in a little more. I'm actually gonna snap mine off. This is low voltage, so we can kind of do whatever we'd like here. I'm going to, there we go. Okay, it's pushed in enough to where we're good. So we're going to push this in, and this will be, this will be coming out of the wall, right? This Ethernet cable will be coming out of the wall somewhere. Or well, when you're done cutting your hole. So what we want to make sure that we're doing is, instead of having to try to feed this in later, it'd be nice to pull that cable through and go ahead and feed that in there. All right, so that is once we actually have the hole. But now we need to make the hole, right? So what we can do here, and before we go any further, we need to talk a little bit about PPE. I highly suggest using an N95 mask. I also suggest using some kind of eye protective here that actually seals around your eyes. You want them nice and tight, probably not gonna feel too good. You'll have a fun little raccoon looking face when you're done, but won't have any dust in your eyes. So this is not exactly good for your eyes, right? So, all right, so the first thing we want to do is figure out where we want this box. Now, I have already taken my measurement device and measured up to 2 meters. And if you look in our general tips, we want to put a MM-Wave sensor 1.5 to 2 meters off the ground. And what we can do is, if this is 2 meters, so it's anywhere, I'm just gonna choose a spot anywhere here. But you might want to measure and get it exactly where you'd like on your wall. Okay, so again, let's go ahead and be extra safe here. Put these on so we don't forget later. And we most likely want a a level piece. So what we're gonna do here is just take our box, and we're gonna use it as a stencil. So I'm holding this up. I got the bubbled where it's in the middle there, and my pencil is terrible, but it technically works. So I'm gonna go ahead and mark here and here on both sides, and then actually you want to mark there, the lower side. My pencil just broke. Nice. Okay. So now, we're going to ignore that one that's not there. Now we know where to cut our box. And so what we can do is go ahead and mark entire deal. And another thing that you can do is actually cut it just a tiny bit low, not quite as wide as you think you need it. That way, if you end up, it's better to have less and cut off a little bit more than it is to have too big of a hole and this not want to sit there correctly. So, all right, so at this point, the absolute simplest way to do this is to use a drywall knife. And you can quite literally make a little hole here. Now, you need to make sure that you know what is on the other side of this wall. If you're not absolutely sure, that it is an empty cavity and that there's no, Romex coming through it or anything like that, then you might want to poke a very small hole and put like a little scope in here that'll actually show you what's in there. I'm not going to show you how to do that. I do have a scope. If y'all really want me to show you, I can do that in a future video. So the easiest way to do this here is poke your little hole. And you don't want to go too hard because this will try to snap on you, right? So we're going to kind of gently, and it's going to be a little loud. Very gently kind of cut down and across. Okay, so now we're going to do the same thing over here. All right, and then I'm actually going to push this in. All right, we're almost there. Ta-da. Cool. So now we're just going to go ahead and cut all the way across with our little stencil here. So and again, this is not, there's a science to it. I'm not a scientist. So all right, getting there. Alrighty, almost there. We're gonna keep going. And again, remember, you gotta go nice and slow. If you go too fast, it'll try to rip and stuff. You can also try to, pinch it and hold it a little bit here. All right, done. And as you can tell, I did not do a perfect job, but that's okay. This might not fit. We might have gone a little small. We're about to find out. These little wings are, these little wings right here are what actually, and I'm going to take these off so I can see a little better, are actually what is going to kind of pinch and hold this in the wall. So we want to make sure both those wings are kind of pushed in there. We're just going to slide this into our wall. And at this point, these are ready to twist in. However, if you remember, we actually want to pull our Ethernet through first. So let's very gently pull this back out. And our little winglet's gonna give us a little bit of trouble here, but that's okay. Come on. Come on. I don't want to reach my hand back in there if I don't have to. Come on. There we go. Okay. So yeah, those wings are gonna be fun. You can always twist the screw and that will get the wing to go in. So before we actually put our box inside of our hole we just created, we want to knock out or at least pull back one of these tabs and pull our Ethernet through. So this will be inside the wall like that, and then this will go right there and there. Perfect. So at this point, I'm gonna skip the step where I'm actually screwing these in because I don't want to, but those will be screwed in. Now we take our PRO-1. I'm gonna take our Ethernet cable, go ahead and plug that in, and we can kind of feed this back, and we're just going to very gently kind of hold it just like that. So at this point, all you need to do is screw in a couple of screws and you are all set. I do not have screws that will fit this at this very moment, so I'm not going to screw those in. But this is how we we install our single gang box mount and then put the PRO-1 inside of it. Again, let me know if you have any questions in the comments. My name is Brandon. I'm the support guy at Apollo Automation. I wear a lot of other hats though. I help with marketing and some other stuff. So I'm also in our Discord. So yeah, please let us know if you have any issues or feedback about this. All right, thanks again everyone, and enjoy your PRO-1.